Baseball is full of unforgettable moments. Some we cherish and others we'd rather forget. And unfortunately for Yankee fans, Game 5 of the 2024 World Series is a classic example of the second category. Even A-Rod agrees with me.
Then came the fifth inning, Derek, which is one of the ugliest innings you'll see in baseball playoff history, where the Yanks just melt.
It was so brutal that it still haunts the Yankees, and honestly, will be haunting them for a long, long time. For the Dodgers, on the other hand, it was the kind of night that baseball dreams are made of. And if you're wondering why, then stick around, because in this video, we're going to break it all down for you. But right before we do something for me real quick. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe, so you're always in the loop for the latest MLB scoop. Now, like I said earlier, Game 5 of the World Series wasn't just another night under the stadium lights. It was like a full-blown emotional roller coaster that left the whole of New York hanging upside down. Which is pretty funny for everyone except Yankee fans, of course, because they were practically already planning a victory parade. New York had hoped to make history by becoming the first team to force a Game 6 after trailing 3-0 in a World Series. The team had a 5-run lead, the champagne was on ice, and all signs pointed to Gerrit Cole carving his name into World Series history. In fact, the first 4 innings of Game 5, the Yankees looked like they were writing the script for an epic comeback. Fresh off their Game 4 blowout, they came out swinging, their confidence sky high. Aaron Judge and Jazz Chisholm Jr. wasted no time, launching back-to-back homers that had Yankee Stadium shaking before Jack Flaherty could even settle in. By the second inning, Flaherty was sent packing after Alex Verdugo's clutch RBI single. Giancarlo Stanton piled on in the third with a thunderous solo shot and made it 5-0. The Yankees were firing on all cylinders. Offense, energy, and momentum firmly in their corner. Meanwhile, Gerrit Cole on the mound was locked in like a man on a mission. He mowed through the Dodgers lineup with ease, his no-hitter intact through 4 innings. Every pitch was sharper than the last, and with the way the Yankees' bats were going, it felt like a formality that Cole would cruise to victory. This was supposed to be his signature performance, the night the Yankees stayed alive in the series, with Cole leading the charge. But by the 5th inning, it all fell apart. It all started pretty small, with Kike Hernandez ending Cole's no-hit bid with a clean single. But what followed was a sequence that no Yankee fan will forget, and certainly not in a good way. Tommy Edman hit what should have been a routine fly ball to center, but Aaron Judge, of all people, dropped it. We're still not really sure how that happened. Maybe he glanced at a base runner, maybe it was just bad luck, but whatever it was, the ball hit the turf. Judge hadn't made an error all year, and now in the biggest game of the year, it happened. The chaos didn't stop there. Will Smith, the catcher for the Dodgers, followed with a grounder to shortstop, where Anthony Volpe tried to make a play at third. The throw was rushed, it was off target, and ended up in the dirt. Chisholm couldn't handle it, and suddenly the bases were loaded with no one out. Even then, Cole refused to back down. He struck out Gavin Lux with a blazing fastball that had the crowd roaring. Then, with pressure mounting, Cole froze Shohei Ohtani with a filthy knuckle curve. 2 outs, bases still loaded, and it looked like Cole might actually pull off a Houdini-like escape. But the game had already started slipping out of the Yankees' grasp, even if it wasn't obvious yet. The Dodgers weren't done, and the Yankee mistakes weren't over. What started as a dominant performance turned into the inning and the game that broke and ended their season. The entire game not only showcased some of the sloppiest baseball the Yankees have played all season, it was a masterclass in calamity. At this point, the Yankees had managed to commit nearly every defensive blunder imaginable. But as crazy as it sounds, it didn't stop there. Anthony Volpe's errant throw compounded the unraveling, and Gerrit Cole's mental lapse in failing to cover first base opened the floodgates. As if that weren't enough, Austin Wells was called for catcher's interference, and Jimmy Weaver added a balk in the 9th inning to cap off the disaster. Now, Stanton briefly reignited hope in the 6th inning with a sacrifice fly to regain the lead, but that glimmer of light was snuffed out soon after. On the other side of the diamond, the Dodgers were having a blast. Jack Flaherty's brief appearance on the mound could have spelled trouble, but the bullpen took over and turned things around. Blake Treinen threw 42 grueling pitches, holding the line like his life depended on it, and Dodgers second baseman Gavin Lux responded with a sac fly of his own. And Mookie Betts delivered the decisive blow with an 8th inning RBI that left the Yankees reeling. When the final out was on the horizon, Walker Buehler stepped up for his first career save, and it just so happened to clinch the World Series. The game ended with the Dodgers celebrating a Hollywood-worthy triumph, while the Yankees were left picking up the pieces of an unimaginable collapse. But beyond the fact that this game was an embarrassing screw-up that cost New York its first World Series win in 15 years, it also changed the way that we look at the franchise altogether. You see, for most of 2024, the Yankees lived life on the edge and got away with it. They relied on talent to overshadow their flaws. Despite being the worst base-running team in the league and routinely making defensive errors that defied explanation, they powered their way to 91 wins and an AL pennant. The formula was simple: overwhelm the opposition with star power. Aaron Judge and Juan Soto headlined an explosive lineup that thrived on home runs. Garrett Cole anchored an elite starting rotation, where the bullpen came together just in time for October. The Yankees didn't need to be fundamentally perfect when they could simply outplay and overpower their opponents. That approach carried them all the way to the World Series. However, in Game 5, their luck ran out. Aaron Judge lost a routine fly ball, Anthony Volpe overthrew third base, and Garrett Cole, who so happens to be their $300 million ace, missed covering first base on what should have been an inning-ending groundout. And from the looks of it, it's pretty clear that this loss could be just the beginning of a rough 2025 season. It's no surprise that the Yankees are scrambling to regroup after their World Series meltdown. The team wasted no time in making changes, starting with the announcement that they've declined Anthony Rizzo's 2025 option. The 35-year-old first baseman, who signed a 2-year, $34 million contract back in 2022, is now a free agent after the Yankees chose the $6 million buyout over the $17 million option. But that's not the only shakeup. Reports are swirling that Garrett Cole has opted out of his 9-year, $324 million contract, which was the largest pitching deal in MLB history when he signed in 2019. The Yankees do have a way to keep their ace in pinstripes, though. They can void the opt-out by tacking on an extra year and $36 million, bringing the total potential earnings to a jaw-dropping $180 million over the next 5 years. Realistically, that would be nothing close to what they'd be spending if they decide to hold on to Juan Soto, but honestly, it might be their best move. Soto was pretty much the only consistent presence on that roster this entire season. No disrespect to Aaron Judge or Garrett Cole or anyone else, but Soto was the guy showing up day after day and delivering. Right now, he's the only player that the Yankees can't afford to lose. The thing is, Soto's free agency is going to be the story of the offseason. This isn't just about the Yankees. Every team in baseball is going to be looking to make a move. The Mets will make a run at him, and I wouldn't be surprised if Steve Cohen is already plotting his bid over there in Flushing. But as he saw this season, if there's any team that needs Soto, it's probably going to be the Yankees. They've got to make sure that they don't let him slip away. And speaking of slipping away, the numbers being thrown around for Soto's potential deal are insane. We're talking up to $707 million. That's $7 million more than Ohtani's record-breaking contract from last year. Now that's a whole lot of cash, but if any team can pull it off, it's probably the Yankees. They've never been shy about spending big on superstars. The only problem is that their strategy hasn't exactly delivered results that they've been banking on. Despite their superstar-studded roster, their issues with consistency and fundamentals have repeatedly left them short of their ultimate goal. But the question is, can they fix these problems and still make a run at Soto? Well, I'd like to hear what you think in the comments below.